What's going on, people? Kids, kidettes, today is a very special day in the Hustler's Kung Fu Spear. I'm going to do something that I think I've alluded to, but I've never actually committed to. If this is your first time here, this is Glendon Cameron, your hustling godfather. What we do here is we create businesses, we make money, we stack money, and we form corporations. Yes, we form corporations. So, one of the things that is going to go down, I am getting ready to reformat the art of holding. I'm getting ready to take it to another level. I'm getting ready to make this deal. And also, before we get into all that, let's talk about corporations and the art of holding. This is how the big boys do it. This corporate structure, plus the advent of tax havens and tax shelters, is how Amazon pays no taxes, how Apple pays no taxes. I give you, all right, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. I'm giving you the game that no one else gives you because, folks aren't doing it on this level. So I want you, and also, if my stream was working, it just didn't work tonight. I want you guys to go to my personal finance channel, Glendon Cameron, and watch this video because I'm going to talk about how I want you to make between $150,000 and $350,000 per year. That's the point things start to break free. That's the level that things broke free for me. I was able to, my life, since then, my life has been on this upward path and I haven't come down. It's the high with no repercussions. It's the ability to transform your life. So I want you guys, and let me go ahead and give you the parameters. $150,000 as single person income. I'm not talking about household income. I want you as a single person to make $150,000 per year to $350,000. At that level, life for a business. Thanks for the super chat. Okay. Essentially, yes, you would take those loans and credit cards out of your holding company because the holding company is where the money goes. And this is one of the reasons that I'm going to do these business classes. I'm going to, let me come back and get in here. Because, there's a lot of knowledge that needs to be shared. All right, Frank, I appreciate that. There's a lot of knowledge to be shared. One of the things that we're going to do, and we're going to do this together, is we're going to start creating economic legacies. We're going to talk about creating, because, everyone talks about generational wealth. We need more generational wealth. We need more generational wealth. Nobody's saying, how do you get it? How do you go ahead and create generational wealth? What's the first step? No one's talking about that. People are talking about where we need to be. We need to be on Mars, but there's no blueprint to creating the rocket ship to get us to Mars. There is no blueprint for that. So once again, we're going to talk about the blueprint. One of the things that I'm going to do, and this is going to be under this video after I go off because I can't, it's just weird the way that you have to set these up. But I'm going to create a payment plan for the Art of Holding in business classes. and I'm going to leave the price at $1,600 to the end of the month. And what I'm going to do, is everyone who bought the Art of Holding this month, I'm just going to grandfather you into this. So, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the theory and practicality of an operating company. We're going to talk about how to set this up. We're going to talk about many of the things that go on in big business that, you got guys out here who could be taking advantage of these tactics, because that's all they are. They're just tactics, but they're not, because they don't know. They would not know. And going life for a business, let me go holler at you for a minute. Recently, and I can't show it to you because I'm on my phone, I don't know why that the live streaming thing sometimes works and doesn't work. But I just took out some funding for my company through Clearbank. And I'm going to get into the theory of the holding company. Then I'm going to get into the practical application, because I've had clients and people on the phone who want to put stuff in the holding company, like maybe a website, and I'm like, no. You don't do that. Your holding company doesn't do business with anyone. It does nothing. It does nothing. You don't have any vehicles. You definitely don't have any vehicles in your holding company. Vehicles are high liability. I mean, a vehicle gets in an accident, then if they want to sue, they guess what? Since the holding company owns the vehicle, they can sue your holding company, because there's a direct link between the vehicle and the holding company. You have that holding company you have that vehicle in the operating company, then they can only get what's in the operating company, and they can only get what the insurance limit allows. They can't take your money. Let's see. Extraordinary money. You know you were right. Everyone cannot be like you. The world will collapse under inflation. What do you mean? All right, Miguel, appreciate you. Jason, that would be correct. You want to put a vehicle, like I have a holding company, but Mac Daddy Media owns the vehicle. The holding company owns nothing. The holding company owns the operating companies, and the operating companies pass revenue up to the holding company. So we're going to get into a lot of discussions about business, and we're going to talk about trust, because you got a lot of people out here who are trying to put the chicken before the egg. You don't have no assets. You don't have a cash flow business. You're trying to do something because, I understand a lot of people like good advice. Understand that. And it's good advice to have your holding company. Someone asked me, did the Art of Holding deal with land trust? Not currently, but as I'm moving toward real estate, I'll be discussing that. But first thing that, one of the reasons I'm going to do these business classes is, the first thing is you got to create a business that generates revenue. First thing. Because I don't care how beautiful your articles of organization are. I don't care how tight your corporate papers are. If you don't have a business making money, it means nothing. Extraordinary money. If everyone had the mindset like you to be rich, just think everybody was a millionaire like you, then what it would mean to be a millionaire? You need to have, and I disagree with that assessment. You've heard of utopia, right? Utopia is this place where everybody is healthy, wealthy, and they have leisure. It will be helped. There'd be a utopia on the earth. I disagree with that. The thing is that so many people don't play the money game and don't have a money mindset. Black Caesar, what's the best structure for newbies to get started? I mean, it's just you. You're not gonna be the manager. See, this is one of the things that, I'm gonna do a class on this. People are not used to having options and choice. And people kind of get confused. Once you set up your LLC, you could be the CEO, you could be the president, you could be the office manager, you could be the janitor, you could be whatever you want to be in your company. You get to decide what you're going to be. I mean, it's wide open. All right, Charles. Pretty much BK Pro. I would not put my car in my holding company. William Johnson, land trust for rental properties owned by LLCs, owned by holding LLC, owned by you. That's one way to do it, because I will get into that when I get into the real estate business. Life for a business, but who would serve us burgers? The robots. We're automation. You got a robot right now called Zumba that will vacuum up your house. The robots will serve the burgers. That's who's going to serve the burgers. I don't know why you didn't even think of that. Epic investor mindset without strategy and network is heavy with resistance. McGill would explain the tax obligations for a holding LLC. You just pay your regular taxes. There's no special tax obligation for a holding company. You just like the money from the operating company passes up to the holding company, so do the deductions when you fill out your taxes. Once again, we're going to talk about how to find a proper CPA, because for the time that you can research and figure all this out, you can make that money back so easily that it's worth paying someone to do it. But your tax obligations would be your normal taxes on your profits. That's what they would be. Land trusts are great for hiding your assets from public record, which is valuable because, once again, I was working with this client, and the client has a $5 million business. So he was worried about his ex-wife. And we had a long talk about that. And what we did is we set him up some LLCs where no one knows who owns LLCs in New Mexico. It was I felt like I was on a military ops. I mean, it was just that strategic. Manager for food and beverage. Okay. Jason Clutchy, for real. Millionaires are the ones willing to spend the money to help others become millionaires, buying the services or goods you're exactly talking about. Yeah, because the thing is, once you start earning money, you're going to find that certain things are worth paying for because they save you time. You got 6 billion other people to serve the burgers. No, man, the robots are going to serve the burgers. Eric Williams, so many obsessed with low wage work, asking who cleaning houses, flipping burgers. Depreciation is a huge advantage in owning rental properties. Exactly. Because if you play the rental game correctly, your rental properties can be cash flowing, money in your pocket, but because of the depreciation rate, you pay no taxes on that earned revenue. Zero if you play it right. I mean, Charles, hey, in the video I was talking about, I was just speaking to the audience, like once upon a time, I was just as ignorant as everyone else out here. I didn't know this stuff. It's like once you start to learn how money operates in the money game, your mind opens up. Foods, AI food service worker using face recognition software. A lot of these dating sites, this is just an aside, that typically, if you as a man have the courage to approach women in public, you're going to do way better than you would do on the dating site. Just saying. Quentin Jackson, to your point, as the owner of a business, you have the freedom to set up your company how you want it. And I think because the average person is put into a box where they could choose option A, B, or C, and to have unlimited options, that's crazy. It doesn't compute. I mean, their brain literally crashes. McGill Wood, just to be clear, there's no double taxation. No, there's double taxation with a traditional corporation. There is double taxation with that. Chill Will, regarding building credit and holding company, do banks consider capital contributions as income? No. Thanks, Chill Will, for bringing that up. Capital contributions are money that you put into your company. If you wanted to donate your car to your company, you could, and that would go in the column of capital contributions. Mo Grizzly, I stopped doing major housework to save myself some time. I pay a couple of ladies a tenth of what I can make that day. I have not washed my car in 8 or about 10 years. And I have a house cleaner that comes in twice a month. Only manual labor I do is wash my clothes. And, I may outsource that in the future. Cakeology. I appreciate the knowledge. Been in business since 11 years old. Still getting cake, peace, and love. Appreciate the $10 super chat. Quentin Jacks, construction LLC is like programming a computer from scratch. Most people want the finished product without doing the programming. That's a good point. So what are these business classes going to talk about? We're going to talk about trust, because it's going to be like you will be going to school, because I'm going to give you the theory and the practical application of holding companies. The serious LLC structure is a little different from the holding company. Because see, essentially, you only file, let's say, God, I wish I could do this, but all right, I'm going to do a little drawing here. Well, I'm going to give you the concept. Let's say you have one holding company, and the holding company has a t-shirt shop, it has a graphic design shop, it has an apparel company, and it has a cleaning service. So you've got this one holding company with these 4 businesses under it. If those businesses made $10 million, you would only file taxes for the holding company. You would not file taxes for each business, because the money passes through the child corp up to the operating company. Pedro, the game is to be sold. And it's an education, because, one of the reasons that, and $1,600 is a grip, and it's going to go up. But the thing is, you do this properly, you start your business, it's going to seem so cheap, because, once again, let me just say this for the people in the back. Your business must make money. Your business must make money. And You go ahead and set this up, and the game I'm going to give you is going to help you make millions if you start a business and execute properly. We're talking millions, y'all. Because, as I was saying, one of the things that's an issue is, on the personal finance channel, I mentioned this, that everyone's teaching you how to get rich when you're old and saggy. If you start investing in the stock market right now at age 21 and you continue investing for 40 years, by the time you're 65, you'll have $1 to $2 or $3 or $4 million. You can't have sex no more. You can't be hanging out with Big Booty Betty. So you're old, and because you have a lot of medical expenses, you will need the money. It'll be good to have, but what if I told you, honestly, that you could get rich in 3 to 10 years? So you got a choice. You can take the slow path to getting rich when your grandkids be like, yeah, granddad got a lot of money. Granddad bought me a pony. Or you want to start this path in your 20s, and by the time you're 30, you got money. Starting a business is the quickest and fastest path to wealth. Many people say it's real estate. Real estate is still getting rich slow, because typically, if you're playing the real estate game where you're going out, you're putting money down, getting a mortgage, some of these folks only cash flowing 150, 200, 300 bucks per month. So they're cash flowing at $2,500 to $3,000 a year. There's a better way to do it, because, real estate, you would have to wait a decade before you really start making that long money, because the price of your house has gone up and your rents have gone up, and now the original mortgage seems small and cheap. We're talking about 10, 15, 20 years. And some people will perpetually always be in debt with real estate, because every time the house reaches capital appreciation, they'll just go to the bank and do an equity loan and pull the money out the property and just keep letting the tenant pay the note, and they'll never own the house. Engineering high school, you make that $1,600 just with the deductions and tax savings. See, there you go. Okay, college, I teach business credit. The egg could have come first. Pretty much. Romel, Trunca Company coming soon, stacking cash, building credit. Awesome. Trucker DT, the runner, is a 401k retirement account through Paycheck's payroll system a good ideal. They say you can make 10% a day through your LLC account. I'm not going to really comment on that, because I don't know. Because here's the thing with a 401k, and also this will be part of business classes. What's the big advantage of 401k? Deferred tax savings. I'm about to say something that's going to be very, very controversial. What if you forgot about the tax savings and you created another business for your retirement account? Let's say real estate, or you put this business that you can hire people to run while you do whatever, and you pay your taxes. Would you rather have, like, take FIRE, financial independence, retire early? Someone has a portfolio of $1.5 million. They can only draw down $30,000 to $40,000 per year, and they got to pay taxes on that. To me, that's just not enough money. $40,000 a year is only $7,000 than what the average person earns. What if I told you that you can have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year coming in while you're retired? This is the plan I'm on. I don't have a 401k. Well, I don't really, and I could do a traditional 401k. I couldn't do a Roth because I make too much money. But I still have the constraints of only being able to put so much money in there. It's like, this jacket's too tight. So I have divorced myself of the tax savings aspect, and I'm just going to create businesses that make money and pay the taxes and run my tax deductions through the business. There will be a class on that, like how to put your house, how to rent your house, how to rent your apartment to yourself, to your business. So, the 401k, you got to do some research on that. William Johnson, I paid $3,000 for a lack of knowledge. Was set up inappropriately for fee, then business set up adjusted for a fee, then dissolved company for a fee. Good Lord. Roth for real estate. Yep, Erica calls it fast money, slow money. Business is fast money. Real estate is a type of slow money. Very, very slow if you're doing the leverage game. Because you could literally own a house for 10 years before it starts really putting some decent money in your pocket. Tank Johnson, with a trucking company being a high-risk business, is it smart to have a trucking company under a holding company? I'm not fully versed on the trucking thing because it's my understanding that you have your authority, and I don't know how that works with an LLC. But if I had a trucking company, I would have a holding company, and I would have the trucks in an operating company, because that operating, the more layers you have between the holding company and the actual business, the more protection you have. So I would definitely do it that way because, I'm not interested in trucking. I'm a digital kid, so I don't know a lot about that. But I do know that one of the things that you want to do is you would never have a truck, which is high liability and high risk, in your holding company. Don't ever put a truck in your holding company. That just obliterates the whole purpose of setting up a holding company. So you would have your trucking company as an operating company, and the holding company owns operating company. Douglas Jones, that's my point. 40K a year might be poverty level within the next 5 years, just saying due to inflation. And this is what, you see these fire people, they get $1 million portfolio. Because I've never seen anybody who's doing fire get like a $5 million portfolio. And let's see. Oh, I'm looking for my phone and there it is. I can't, let's see. Come on, calculator. So we got $5 million portfolio minus all right. So if you had a $5 million portfolio and you were pulling 3%, that's $150,000 per year. With 5 million in the market. Let's see. If you had a $5 million portfolio pulling off 4% minus 4, that's $200,000 a year. So once again, I really get rich fast and slow. Roberta WH, question: when opening a holding company as an LLC, do you need to do anything special? Absolutely. Or just open like a normal LLC, in the operating agreement we explain it's a holding company. That's your operating agreement in your articles of organization where you spell all that out, because I like to spell out everything specifically. Like you can go to the Georgia Secretary of State and go look at Mac Daddy Media, and you can see how I wrote it out, spelled out everything. Being very specific gives you even more protection. Trucking authority equals insurance. Like I said, I'm not really well versed on that. Jason Clutchy, if I saved the money I put into my 401k to put into a real investment, I could have bought a rental property cash and be collecting the rent to purchase more rentals, and the dominoes keep falling. That's the line that I'm thinking. That right there, Jason, is the way that I'm thinking. Because, I mean, many people have enough money that, let's go ahead and say you got $1 million in your 401k. And if you took and you pull out 4%, that's $40,000 a year. But check this out. Check this math out. If my phone will turn on. All right. Let's say you have, let's take $1 million. Let's go. Divided by 150,000. So you can get 7 rental properties for 150,000. And each rental property rents out for, let's keep it conservative. Let's say $1,200, because you can get $1,200 for a nice rental house in most parts of the country. Times 7 is $8,400 times 12 is $100,000 a year. Same money, same $1 million, but you get $60,000 a year more money. Plus, you also have the rental houses going up in value, and you also have rent going up in value. Same money. So, Jason, you're 100% correct. You've done the math. Because if you've got 2 rental houses, let's say you bought $300,000 worth of rental property. That's $2,500 to $3,000 a month income coming in. That's more than the average person makes per year. What's up, Tank? Black Caesar. Yeah, real estate gets money because, once again, I'm just trying to put y'all on the fast path to getting high income, and that's a business. Rental wealth building is slow but works for many. Business faster growth. Dude, I can tell you the number of real estate investors who fail, looking at Zillow, of people trying to offload properties that they paid too much and they spent all their rehab money. I think just as many people fail in real estate as do business. And I discussed that too. Sure thing, Roberta. Life or business? No. The cash goes to the holding company. Loans will be taken out of the holding company. Trucking is very high risk. One trucking accident can put a company out of business. One. Roberto W., can I pass my timeshare to my company using a quick claim deed? I don't really know about that, because now you're getting into, because you don't really, the timeshares thing is you have a portion to be at this place so many, part of the year. I don't really know about that. Vincent Gallimore, if you're in Texas, if there are any Texas vets on here, and LLC is free for us until the first of the year. Wow, I didn't know that. Chill Will, does a holding company created in Wyoming need to be registered in Washington State to own a Washington LLC? No. See, this is the building, because we're going to get into this, because, I'm going to get into the New Mexico thing, because it depends on what type of business you have and all this other stuff. But you could put your holding company in a tax, like such as Florida or Texas, no income tax, and it can own something anywhere else. Now, that other LLC, if it's registered in the state, then it have no problems opening up banking accounts and conducting business. Jabra, the 401k will be taxed. So if you need 40k, you have to draw 50, 60k depending upon taxes, unless you have a Roth. Yeah, I used to have a Roth. I guess I still do. I just can't contribute to it anymore. Big Dog Sean, I'm going to be creating that. The link for all of that will be below after the stream once I go ahead and set it up, because I'm going to be doing business classes and I'm revamping the art of holding. Sure, Roberta. Kelvin Davis, can one LLC have, well, if the LLC is a holding company, yeah, you can have as many LLCs under that if you want. Mo Grizzly, I need to open a business in Texas. Rob, for real estate, yep, all about the net cash flow. Real estate can be fast money too. And this is where capital comes in. If you have enough money to buy 2 or 3 rentals cash, that's some decent income pretty much anywhere in the country, because that's going to be, let's say you buy 3 rentals and you get $1,500 per month. That's $4,500 a month passive income. Not trying to bust anybody's bubble in trucking, but Ceodon's clothing store is a trucking company. Really? I didn't know that, Johnny Walton. McGill Woods, I like that. Since I started watching videos, I no longer ask my boss for a raise because now I create my own wealth. If you have a 401k, you could convert any amount to a Roth 401k, any income amount. Well, see, when you make over 120k, you can't contribute to a Roth. If you have it already established, you can do whatever. Charlton, what would dictate the need for a second holding company? Real estate. Like, I have 2 holding companies. I have a holding company for my media business and the real estate business. I haven't set up the operating company, but I've already created the holding company, and I'm putting capital contributions in the holding company to loan to the operating company to buy my first piece of real estate. So typically the internal revenue is kind of funny. If you have very divergent business models, like the example I gave you, if you have a t-shirt company, a graphics design company, and some other stuff, that's not really too terribly dissimilar, and you can file that under one thing. But if you had like a water treatment plant, they may look at you kind of weird, because they may force you to file 2 sets of taxes. It was 2 filing fees, Black Caesar. Rod for real estate, that's because the manager stole the company. All right, Lee Torrent Hepburn. So once again, each LLC that you file with the state, you're going to pay a filing fee. There's, and also it's very cheap, because I think this year, all my companies, I paid like $1,000 administration fee. I mean, it's really cheap. So one of the things that we're going to get into, do you think the Patriot Express loan from the SBA is a good idea for veterans? I knew that there were certain SBA loans that were available to combat veterans that weren't available to all veterans. That was like a sweet deal. It was super sweet. let's see. I don't know about the Patriot Express. Let's see. Let's see. Patriot Express, a pilot loan product with streamlined paperwork based on the agency's SBA Express programs, offering an enhanced guarantee and interest rate on loans to small business owned by vets, reservists, and their spouses. Patriot Express loans are up to $500,000. I didn't even know that existed. I'm not really one that goes deep on my military benefits. Motley Fool and everybody saying cannabis is blowing up. Blow 101, you would always get profit in the transportation field. Yeah, I mean, because see, this trucking company going under has created opportunities because they're going under and they've got to restructure under a Chapter 11. You're going to be able to buy a cheap truck. There's about to be 3,000 trucks up for sale. And they're going to go for fire sale discount prices because they're going to go to an auction. Bankruptcy liquidation, you don't pay retail prices for bankruptcy liquidation stuff. So that stuff's going to be going dirt cheap. Trill, no. Vincent Gilmore, I forgot to mention there's no franchise tax for 5 years. Texas is being nice to the veterans. Roy M., can a holding company own another company? In theory, yes, but why would you want to do that? Oh yeah, because see, once you start a company, you could do so many things. Like, I was on a legal website and they were talking about deductions and stuff and like renting your house to your business. There's a way that, I will do a class on how you can do this because it's involved. You just can't like say, oh, my house. You got to have a lease and all this other stuff. But 15 days, Epic Investor, what's 15 days? But once again, there's so much to this game because like, many of you, and just to be, I can't show it, but in the how to prep for a business course, today I added some mind stuff today. And I'm going to work on that the rest of this week. And then we're going to get into the Art of Holding LLC classes. Because there's a whole bunch of things. Because I need to explain exactly what a holding company is, what it does, the purposes, and how to deploy. I'm about to buy my first ATM. All right. Go ahead, Terry. It's kind of funny. I don't use those bandit ATMs. Just call me paranoid because I only go to whatever bank that I have the money in. I go to that bank branch, and use my debit card to get the money out. But I guess a lot of people don't really care about that because they make money. They make money. But what we're going to talk about in these business classes, because one of the things that I've been meaning to do, and I've had some people we consulted, is I get two kind of business owners. And I get people who are hungry, who really want to get it. And I get people who are comfortable and they don't want to change. They don't want to change. It's like I had this one guy, he knew he needed to change it. He wanted to enter a new market. I told him what to do, and he went on a vacation. Because he had a $3 million company that was like 50% profitable. And for the quick math, that's $1.5 million that was flowing to him. So it was just very hard to get him motivated. Michael asks, should I set up my holding company in Delaware, Wyoming, or Nevada? Depends on what you're doing. Depends on what you're doing. Like, this would be part of business classes because I get a lot of people. All right, got a phone call. Did not expect that. Who don't have cash flow in their business, who want to do all of these esoteric things. And I'm like, build slow, baby. Don't be spending money you don't have to spend before you spend it. Oh man, I didn't know that. FK, the bandit FTM cleaned my checking account out while on a trip to London. Sorry to hear that. Boss life, until I started my side hustle, some of your teachings went over my head. Now understand your master's teachings, including the 80 to 100-hour work week. Hey, like I put that video up today. For 3 to 5 years, you're going to have to work 80 to 100 hours. You're just going to have to, it's just a reality because starting a business, there's so many things you got to do and set up. Like, you know, it can invigorate you because like today, I started working at 10, still going. And, you know, the reality is, you know, there's a lot of people on here telling you that you can buy this course because I'm getting ready to start. Because the reason that I got the money from ClearBank is for advertising. And, you know, I should do a review on ClearBank because essentially they give you a credit card. And if you use your credit card with certain people, you get 6% cash back. So all the money that I got from ClearBank is going to be for marketing. And it's already set up in the accounts and all this because I'm not using it for anything else. And the best time to borrow money is when you have money. I mean, I got a lot of money in my capital account for the real estate. I don't really have to borrow money, but once you want to establish business credit and relationships, the best time to borrow money is when you're flush. When you desperately need money, I'm like begging, pleading. It's so hard to get. But when you flush, approved. Correction, 14 days to rent the home to the S corporation and get double the tax benefits. Okay. Leah Dye, can a handmade business work at, you mean a crafting business where you make stuff? I don't understand your question, Leah Dye. Engineering life skill. Y'all need to get the course. I had to pay $16,000 retainer for the same knowledge Uncle G's telling you now for $1,600. The price of the course is going up. I'm just going to leave it at $1,600, you know, for the rest of the month because the payment plan is already more. Jason Clutchy, that's so true for anything in life. Highly favored. I roll off 80K with an S corporation. And I'm going to talk about S corporations and their relationships to holding companies. I'm going to put all this in business classes because here is the game, folks. This is the only thing available to the average American. This is the only thing you can do to elevate your social class through starting a successful business and increasing your income, increasing your knowledge base. You can change social classes, which can be a big thing if you want to have kids. Because typically, most people live and die in the same social class that they're born into. So if you want to have some rich little kids, you need to be rich yourself. Whatever company's under the holding company. Oh, yeah, I didn't understand that question. But there's so many things you can do. This is the only game in town for the average person. Speaking as someone who came from a single mother household, who was at one point living in abject poverty, starting a business and serving my fellow man literally changed my life. I remember years ago, I was at the Krispy Kreme on Buford Highway, and I saw one of our customers from the upscale garage sale. And he's like, "Hey, man, are y'all gonna open it up again?" This is like 6 years after we shut it down. It's like, me and my family, we love coming there every weekend. That made me feel really good. 6 years after it closed down, dude was still like fiending for the upscale garage sale. And one of the things that I love about serving my fellow man, I'll never forget this email I got from Morris. "Hey, man, I just got laid off." "Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that." He said, "Don't be sorry. This is great. I'm going to get a package. Then I'm going to get unemployment for a year. I already make more money than I was making on my job with the storage auction business thanks to you." Somebody asked me there's this question: can you still make money in the storage auction business? If you hustle, yeah. It ain't the easy money. Because if I had known what I know today, I would have went a little harder, because I thought I was going hard. I probably could have elked out about 10% more. Because, man, yeah, multiple holding companies, because we're going to talk about generational wealth. Because one of the things that you got to do for generational wealth is school your kids. Because if you don't talk to them about money, rich people talk to their children about money. Because that way, when they pass the money to the kids know what to do. If you never have a conversation with your kid about money, they're just going to blow it. It's like, "Mom and Dad died. Oh." 6 months later, blowing money fast. I'm Big Meech. After they heal up, they just start blowing money to comfort their pain. Okay, really talk about an S corp or persons with rights. An S corp, an LLC, a holding companies. These are individuals on paper. They can have a tax record. They can have a credit profile. It's just like you're creating a person that can do stuff. So it just depends. Dylan, I'm going to talk about whether you should do an S corp. And if you're a single member entity, you might want to do an S corp. It just depends on what you're doing. Rod for real estate. Gee, people don't understand how powerful this stuff is. These tactics made the Trumps rich. Amazon can pay minimum in taxes, and so many other examples. Amazon, Apple, IBM. I mean, this is why this stuff is priceless, because once you start playing this game, and this is why Trump would not show his taxes. They were like, "You need to show us your taxes." "Well, I'm under an audit." He refuses, because when people see how much money he made and how little he paid in taxes, a lot of people would be like, "F Donald Trump. I'm out here paying all these taxes. He ain't paying no taxes." So, once again, Jason Clutchy, so you're saying I can make a person that can right all wrongs that Jason Clutchy made? Pretty much. Dylan, I manufacture products and have a retail store under the same LLC. That'll work. So if it's under the same LLC, that's considered one business. McGoodwood, if I were to borrow capital to expand my business, should the holding company? The holding company, once again, I keep saying this, and I'm going to say this. The holding company collects the money. That's where you would get credit. That's where you get your credit cards, not the operating company. Dylan, I'm not saying that because if you've had your current LLC, you've paid taxes, you've had these exposures, you would probably have to convert your current LLC into a holding company and then create operating companies because it's already in the system. And you can make a little mistake that can cost you some money. Dylan, I got your merchant account should go be under holdings. No, the merchant account should go to the operating company. I got an application in. I haven't heard from them. It may be bad, but the application is going for the operating company because the merchant account, it's just a way to collect money from your customers. It's not a real form of taxation. S corp for flipping houses, LLC for rental properties. Once again, it just depends. It just depends what you're doing, what's your situation. Are you married? Do you have kids? There's so many things that go into these decisions. Uncle G, the common man cannot comprehend a profit and loss statement versus a W-2 that most receive at the end of the year as an employee. Trump's know better than to display those documents. Man, people would be mad. Engineer, the word is indemnify, and that word is actually in my articles of organization. It's illegal, so when things go south, you can say it wasn't me. Karen, Apple avoided the taxes because they formed an S corp in Aruba, but Obama stopped them from bringing the money back into the country. Hey, once again, for every move that Congress makes, a whole new industry pops up to serve these corporations. Keyboard diffs, learning business language is hard. Nope, I'm not on IG. I need, well, actually I am. I just rarely do anything on Instagram because I'm thinking about getting rid of that. Leah Dye, any words of encouragement for a mom with 2-month-old trying to start a business? It's only temporary. The struggles that you have are going to go away. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Because that kid's going to grow up so fast. And if you're doing stuff to building a business, getting customers, your life will be so different 5 years from now. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Because the name of the game is keep showing up. Miguel, but I mean, this is one of the things. When you borrow money, if you don't pay it back, your holding company is going to get a bad record on, And also with business loans, you got to be careful because business loans typically are higher. They come after you. You default on a business loan or the business credit card, they will sue you. Like when I had my Home Depot credit card, MasterCard, which was issued through GE Capital, I read that they went after a bunch of people for that credit card. Like me, when I got my letter that, we're no longer going to continue to serve this product, your account is now closed, I had no balance. I had nothing to worry about. Good Lord. I only thought that I got the haters when I was talking about social issues. K. Ronan, the next step is forming a corporation to take it public and issue stocks. That's a tricky, tricky journey, man. That's a tricky journey. And you would have to form a corporation to do that. Aaron, visit wise to take dividends from the holding LLC as a tax strategy. Absolutely. The language of money. A dividend is not the same as profit. Let me give you a little story. When I worked for the Panel Systems Unlimited, there were three partners, and one partner worked in the company, and he got a paycheck like the rest of us. But guess how he got the rest of his money? Every quarter, he got a dividend check from the company. So he received W-2 income like the rest of us, and he got a dividend check every quarter. I'm like, dude, get like 50, 60K every quarter. I don't even know what he was making on his salary. I have no clue. Demont, if I decide to sell products online, where do I start the research on these products? YouTube. Demont, YouTube. There's so much information about e-commerce here. Also, I would do this, Demont. I would not look for a product. I would look for an audience that has a need and sell them what they need. That's going to make you way more money than just getting a widget and then putting it on a website and hoping people buy. I'm telling you from experience. Sell what people are buying. Gene, I have a huge collection of collectible toys and Lego sets. I'm starting another company to handle sales. Any recommendations on how to transfer the products to the new company? Gene, that would be considered a capital contribution to your new company. Just set it up in your QuickBooks and put a value on it and give it to your company. What's up, Sonic? Oh, I mean, it could be done. People are doing it every day, penny stocks and stuff like this. I'm just saying, that's a whole different game, going public and getting people to buy your stock in your company. Michael Addison, I don't preach a C Corp. A C Corp is going to take longer to form, and you got all these rules and the guys. I don't preach C Corps. Where do you get that from? I don't preach that. I don't even understand your question because you're putting words in my mouth that I have not said. Shame a corporation flip it and get the money. That's funny. Engineer life skills. Kickstarter is great for market research. Check what's popular and see if you can serve the market. BK Pro, should my affiliate websites run under an LLC? If so, should they be separate LLCs? I mean, if you've got a bunch of websites, you can just put all those websites under one business. Like, I would not recommend anyone doing a C Corp unless they had big dreams and ambitions and deep pockets. I mean, an LLC will serve most people's purposes. If you want to start an Amazon, or you want to start, at some point you're going to try to go public, yeah, you got to start a C Corp. And you got to hire people to put that bad boy together for you. But no. Average person will do fine with a regular holding company and LLC structure, because there are limits to how many members you can have per state. And there's like corporations you could create. Like, if everyone in your state wanted to invest in your corporation, I think you could do up to like 300 members. I would suggest Hepburn watch a lot of drop shipping videos. I don't really preach drop shipping here. Many people don't know this, but the Trump organization is an LLC. Trump has like 96 LLCs. There's a video on this channel, Trump's 96 LLCs. The real master in that family was, yes, you can. If you get big enough, can you convert an LLC to a C Corp if you want to? Most corporations' value come from intellectual properties all day long. But Fred Trump, was a genius at this stuff. If it wasn't for Fred Trump, we wouldn't know who Donald Trump was. He bailed him out of so many messes. I mean, I want you to think about it. You go out and make $100 million mistake, and your daddy can bail you out of $100 million mistake through connections and cash. Fred Trump was a bad mofo. He was a bad mofo. So, we're going to get into a lot of education, and the link will be below after this video, after I go off, and give me time to put it under there. There will be a payment plan, and what we will be doing probably once a week is having a class on certain things for your business. QuickBooks, Alicia Archer, QuickBooks. If you're like so big that you can hire a bookkeeper, but for most people, QuickBooks will do it. I'm going to have to take my hat off to Fred Trump. Fred Trump was the gangster. John D. Rockefeller was richer, but Fred Trump had mastered this tax shelter, tax avoidance, tax reduction game like crazy. I would have to go. Fred left Donald $400 million. I want you to think about this. Fred Trump had millions of dollars in the bank when the average house around the country cost $24,000. He was writing out $3 and $5 and $6 million checks. He had that kind of money just laying around. Fred was a beast. Go ahead and Google Fred Trump and Donald Trump and read all the stuff that he did. Fred was a monster with this stuff because they were like, all of these tax shelters were illegal and stuff. Statute of limitations. It's like, okay, yeah, we did this way back when, but statute of limitations has passed. So no cuffs on these hands. Read the long article New York Times did on Fred Trump. I'm telling you, Fred was a master at this. Fred set Trump up even after his death. And one of the things that to show you how ruthless Donald was, that when Fred was older, Donald was trying to get his money. I'm like, you do that to your own daddy who saved you time and time again? Imagine what he would do to us. We didn't give birth to him. We weren't responsible for being him in the world. And he did this to the guy who created him. So once again, we will get into a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of game. We will be talking about a lot of game. A corporation life can see the life of the founders. This is generational wealth. Absolutely. But there's an educational process. Rod for real estate, yeah, he could have been even richer if he had that Rockefeller money from the beginning. Absolutely. Rockefellers, they had long money. And a lot of them are living to be 100. To play the money game, you got to deploy these tactics. And like I said in the earlier live stream, that many people are not even playing the game. They don't even know that they can play the game. This message, I don't know why. One of the best autobiographies I ever read. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry, Thomas, but he read the autobiography of John D. Rockefeller. Yeah, they had that crazy money because they had no competition. See, what I know now, and if most people had a business education, like if I had the ability to travel through time and I went back to the 50s with this knowledge that I have, would be a billionaire. Because I would go back and I would be like, look, we need to do this. I would go out and get me some white pawns as fronts to do certain businesses for me, because it's the 50s. It's very racist. And I would become a billionaire, knowing what I know now. And, here's the beautiful thing about all of this. Anybody can do this. Anybody can start deploying and playing these big boy games. Oh, I would go out and get me a country white boy, clean him up. Because, see, I got to get someone I can control. I wouldn't get myself a smart white boy. I would get me a country white boy who's just happy with a weekly paycheck. I would get him. They would stop the release of your movie. Stop asking me if there's still money to be made in storage auctions. Go out and buy some units and try it. That's what I did. When I got into business, I had no clue. I just like, hey, let's go ahead and deploy some money in this. Stop being scared. You want to go do storage auctions? Find a listing, go buy some auctions. Try your hand at it. Because, see, me telling you that there's someone right now making a lot of money doing storage auctions means nothing to you, because I'm going to tell you a little story. I had a friend who I was on about starting an online business, and he was dragging his feet, and then he got his website together, and once he got his first sale, he called me up. Hey, man, I got my first sale. And you know what he said to me? He said, this is real. He did not know it was real until he got his first sale. So until you get into it, it ain't real to you. It just ain't going to be real. All right, Sonic Megaflight, appreciate you. I thought the Rockefellers were only people to qualify for the 91% tax bracket. They never paid it. See, I've got videos on here talking about you can never tax the rich. There's too many games. I haven't done storage auction content in 5 or 6 years. It ain't coming back. Chill Will. So how does one get credit lines in a new holding company? It's going to be hard. You will have to go off your personal credit. That's going to be a trip trying to do that. And who are these haters rolling up in here all of a sudden? Just the number of people jumped like 30 folks all of a sudden. I don't know. I guess YouTube is sending out. The CIA has holding companies around the world. The CIA has a lot of cash around the world. Black Caesar, I've parted ways with the resale community. I'm done with that. I'm not going back to it. I don't buy storage units anymore. I haven't bought one in a long time, and I'm not going back into that. But there will be more new channels starting in 2020. Because you got a lot of people who are asking me that question who are scared to go out and try. Just find, go ahead. There's so much research. There's so much content out there about storage auctions now. Just go ahead and throw your hat into the ring. All right, I'm about to bounce. I will talk to you savages later. The links and stuff will be under the video in a few moments. And this will start toward the end of the year. Nah, I'm not doing any of that. I am done with storage auctions. So with that, I will see you guys later.